students, I welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1, that is Algebra. We are studying chapter number 4, that is Ratio and Proportion. All the topics we have covered here. The topics are ratio, properties of ratios, operations on equal ratios, theorem of equal ratios, continued proportion and K method we discussed in the previous lecture. And we were discussing the solved examples based on that. Okay, so let us go towards the next solved example from K method. Okay, so solved example number 2. If you have textbooks, please open the textbook and see there so that you will understand how the sum is solved. I told you that because solved examples also can be asked for evaluation purpose. They also can come in exam. So you should not ignore them, you should understand them. Okay, so let us see the question. If A, B, C are in continued proportion, then show that A plus B the whole square upon AB is equal to B plus C the whole square upon BC. Okay, so here we are going to use the K method, and you know that in K method we are writing the ratios and those ratios we are taking equal to K. Okay, so this A, B, C are in continued proportion. So in the ratio form, how we can write them? A upon B is equal to B upon C. Okay, so we wrote two different ratios here. See, continued proportion. Therefore, A upon B is equal to B upon C, and we are taking that as K. So we are taking these two ratios as K. Then we are finding the value of numerators in the form of K by going for cross multiplication. So here also we are doing the same thing. Here we are going to go for cross multiplication. So what we are going to get? B is equal to CK and A is equal to BK. Okay. So we are going to get these two results because of cross multiplication. See, B is equal to C into K, that is CK, and A is equal to BK. Okay. But see, value of B is what? CK. So in place of B here, we are writing CK, and therefore CK into K, CK square. So the value of B is CK and value of A is what? CK square. In the simple proportion, this square is not appearing. If you can recall the previous example, we were having A is equal to BK and C is equal to DK. Their square was not there. But since here it's a continued proportion and we can substitute here the new values, we get as what? CK and CK square. We want the same form, so we have replaced this. Okay, so you cannot write BK in place of A. You should write CK square. Then and then only you are going to get LHS is equal to RHS. Okay, so you take care of that in case of continued proportion. Okay, so now let us substitute these values. B is equal to CK and A is equal to CK square in both the sides. We are going to evaluate these two sides separately, LHS as well as RHS. Sorry. So let us first put in LHS, substituting the values of A and B. Let us put them. So first of all, take LHS. LHS is what? A plus B the whole square upon AB. So in place of A we are writing CK square, and in place of B we are writing CK. Okay, and see, they are inside the bracket and whole square is there. In the denominator, value of A is CK square and value of B is CK. So simply you have to replace A by CK square and B by CK. This is the very first step. Afterwards, here what is done is, from this bracket you will observe that CK is common. And if you take out CK as common, you will be left out with K plus 1. Okay. But outside you have square. So C square, K square, K plus 1 the whole square. Okay. Previously what you were having inside the bracket? CK, then bracket K plus 1 and whole square of that. So we are squaring each and every term here. C square, K square and K plus 1 the whole square. Okay. And here multiplication is done. C into C, C square, and K square into K is K cube. Now you can cancel here. See, here and here. You cannot cancel here because it is in bracket. So what you will find here is C square and C square is cancelled. And k square and k square is cancelled. So you are left with k plus 1 the whole square upon k. This is our LHS. Now let us solve RHS in the similar manner. Okay. So let us put the values now in RHS. What you will observe is in RHS A is not there. So you are going to substitute only value of B. So B you are going to replace by CK both the places. Okay. So here see B, in place of B we are writing CK. So CK plus C the whole square. Here also in place of B we are writing CK and this C as it is. So here also you observe that C is common and you will get K plus 1. So that's C and K plus 1. Both terms we will square. So C squared you will get and K plus 1 the whole square. You are writing it separately. Okay. You are opening the bracket. And down C into C is C square and K as it is. Again you will observe C square and C square is cancelled from numerator and denominator. And what is left out is K plus 1 the whole square upon K. Now observe, you got LHS and RHS exactly same, exactly equal. So what you can write down? Therefore LHS is equal to RHS and therefore the question here, whatever we want to show that is proved. Okay, or that is proved by us. Okay, so you can write down therefore A plus B the whole square upon AB is equal to B plus C the whole square upon BC. So always you have to keep in mind whenever you want to go for K method, you are going to evaluate LHS and RHS separately. You cannot start with this step. Please note that this is our final answer. This we want to prove, this we want to show. Okay, so you cannot start with this. What we observe often is many students they start with this step only. Both the sides they go on substituting. They do everything correct, but the way is wrong. As I have said, this you need to show. So in the beginning, if you are taking this as it is, you are considering it as equal only. But that is our final step. This we want to prove. So you have to evaluate LHS and RHS separately and then you have to justify your answer. Since LHS is equal to RHS, we have proved the thing which is given in the question. Okay. I hope you must have understood this. Solved examples. Now let us go further. These two solved examples, solved example number 3 and solved example number 4, they are deducted. They are not there. Okay. They are under the deducted syllabus because of COVID-19. So you take a note of this. These two solved examples you will not do. Okay. Now let us go towards the last practice set, that is practice set 5.4, which is based on two concepts, continued proportion and K method. Okay. So let us start. The first question here. Which number should be subtracted from 12, 16 and 21 so that resultant numbers are in continued proportion? The similar sum we have solved or we have just discussed in the solved examples in previous lecture. It was very similar, only these numbers were different if you can recall. Okay. So we are going to use the same method from textbook to solve this. Okay. So which number should be subtracted from 12, 16 and 21 so that resultant numbers are in continued proportion? So this number is unknown to us which we want to find. So that unknown number we are going to take as x. So our first statement is what? Let x should be subtracted from 12, 16 and 21 so that the resultant numbers are in continued proportion. Okay, so make use of the first statement as it is in the answer. Only in place of which number you are going to write what? X. Okay, so let x be subtracted from 12, 16 and 21 such that resultant numbers are in continued proportion. We are going to subtract x from each number. So we need to write those new numbers, and those new numbers how we are going to get? 12 minus x, 16 minus x and 21 minus x. So these three numbers are in continued proportion. Therefore what we can write down? 12 minus x, 16 minus x and 21 minus x are in continued proportion. Then the next step, either you can write in the form of a upon b is equal to b upon c. That is 12 minus x upon 16 minus x is equal to 16 minus x upon 21 minus x. That is in the form of ratio you can write down. Or the second method I told you that wherein we had discussed continued proportion, we saw various statements. There we have seen the statement that mean proportional square is equal to multiplication of extremes. Okay. So here you need to write it. You can write in any way which you like. Okay. So here I am using the second method. What I am writing is mean proportional square is equal to multiplication of remaining 2. So I am writing 16 minus x the whole square is equal to 12 minus x into 21 minus x. Mean proportional square is equal to multiplication of remaining 2. Now let us open this bracket. Let us make use of the property a minus b the whole square, that is a square minus 2ab plus b square. Okay. So here what we are going to get? 16 square is 256 minus 2 into 16 into x is minus 32x plus x square. Here minus will not come. You know that square is never negative. Okay, so plus x square. And here you are going to multiply. I told you previously also how you are going to expand this. See, both the places minus sign is there. So what you have to do is you have to multiply these two numbers first. So the multiplication is 252. Then I told that add these two numbers 12 plus 21, that is 33. But since x is minus 33x, or simply you can observe here 12 into minus x is minus 12x and 21 into minus x is minus 21x. So minus 12x minus 21x is minus 33x, and this minus x into minus x is plus x square. Okay. So this is simply the expansion. We have done expansion on both the sides. Now see, here plus x square and here also plus x square. So they will eliminate each other. They will cancel each other. Okay. So what we will do, the next step is we will equate the terms. Like terms we will take on the either side. So what I am doing is this 252 I am taking to LHS. At the same time minus 32 I am taking to RHS. So what I will get? 256 minus 252 is equal to minus 33x. Don't forget to write minus sign here. Plus 32x. Minus is going to become plus. So 256 minus 252, you are going to get 4 is equal to minus x, and therefore x is equal to minus 4. So we got the value of x. But we need to write down the final statement that let minus 4 should be subtracted from these numbers so that the resultant numbers are in continued proportion. Or if minus 4 is subtracted from 12, 16 and 21, the resultant numbers are in continued proportion. Okay. So write down the final answer in the form of words or in the form of statement. Okay. So all of you please copy it down. Be very careful while writing the signs, as I have said previously how important the signs here. Okay, plus and minus signs. So be very careful here. Also I told you in the beginning only that how important all those 8 identities are, which we have studied in the very first lecture. Okay, before starting the syllabus I explained you the importance of those identities. So everywhere we are using those identities, and the concept here we are using, and this concept is useful in 10th standard also, as I have said that many chapters from 9th standard they are continued further in 10th standard. So you must have the knowledge thoroughly there. Okay. So be very careful while writing here also the signs, like here see in hurry minus 33x, if we write plus 33 then everything is going to go wrong. So be very careful there. Okay. So I hope you must have completed it. Those who are not completed, they can pause the video, they can complete it and they can go further. But always keep in mind that try to write the answer immediately after the explanation so that You will understand it better. I am telling this repeatedly. Okay. Now let us go towards the second question. Question number 2. If 28 minus x is the mean proportional of 23 minus x and 19 minus x, then find the value of x. Okay. So here we are provided with the next step. It is told that this is mean proportional of these two. Okay. One more thing I forgot to tell, that the answer of the previous one is given plus 4 in the textbook in the answers, but it is minus 4 actually. Okay, so correct it. Okay. So here let us solve this. Now this is mean proportional and these two are extreme numbers. So again we can use the same method, that either you write down in the form of ratio, that is 23 minus x upon 28 minus x is equal to 28 minus x upon 19 minus x. Or you can write down the square of mean proportional is equal to multiplication of raised to. I am following again the same method so that you will understand it better. Okay. So the steps you will find similar to the previous question here. So let us write down the same statement as it is as the first line of the solution, that 28 minus x is the mean proportional of 23 minus x and 19 minus x. Now somewhere in the digest or whatever you have target and all, you will find that this question is changed. That means according to this sequence, what they have done is this 23 minus x is taken in middle. That means they have changed the question. Framing is changed. Okay, so please take a note of that. Otherwise, you will find that teacher's answer is different and our answer is from the digest is different. So please note, take a note of that, that they have corrected the question. That means what they have done is 23 minus x is the mean proportional of 28 minus x and 19 minus x. So they have changed it. But in textbook, if you see the answer, that answer and our answer is going to match. Okay, and no corrections are given as such. So we are taking the question as it is. So all of you please take note of that. Okay, I am solving the question as it is, as per given in the textbook. No change I am making. So 28 minus x is the mean proportional of 23 minus x and 19 minus x. So let us write down mean proportional square is equal to multiplication of remaining 2. So let us write down, therefore 28 minus x the whole square is equal to 23 minus x into 19 minus x. Okay, this is the property, or by using the statement we can write this. Now similar, the next step is to expand again. So we are going to expand it here. See, 28 square is 784 minus 28 into 2 into x, that is 56x plus x square. The expansion is done by using the formula a minus b the whole square, that is a square minus 2ab plus b square. And here we have used the property or identity x plus a and x plus b. Okay, so 23 into 19, the multiplication is 437. Then 23 plus 19 is 42, and you have to multiply by x. But see, both the x are minus, so minus sign is there, minus 42x. And minus x into minus x is plus x square. Okay, so this is expansion. This you need to do correctly. Now see, plus x square from LHS and plus x square from RHS, they will get cancelled. Then the next step, we have to equate the like terms on the either side. So what we are doing here is this 437 we are shifting to LHS. At the same time minus 56 we are shifting to RHS. So what is our step C? 784 which is present on LHS. This 437 that was positive. So if we change the side, it is going to become negative. Okay. Then this minus 56 we are taking to RHS, so it is going to become positive. And this minus 42x as it is. Got it? So when you subtract this, what you are going to get here? 347. And 56x minus 42x, 14x. And from that value of x you will get as 347 divided by 14. The same answer is given in the textbook. Okay. So I have solved the sum without doing the changes. You also keep this in mind. Okay. When I corrected your evaluation, that means third online assessment, I made one change in the question, and without seeing that, all of you copied simply. Okay, so this is your habit. So please make a note of this, because if one sign is changing, then also everything changes in algebra. So I only made one change in sign and all of you made the mistake there. So please be very careful. Okay. So all of you please write it down. Once again I am saying that you have to be very careful about the signs here. Also by heart all the squares up to 30, cubes at least up to 10, and the 8 identities which are given by me, which are very, very important. Then all the properties which we study in every chapter. Now you will find that the property or the method from the polynomials we are going to use here again. So you should not forget here. You have to carry forward all these things along with you. Okay, so I hope you must have completed it. I am going towards the next question, that is question number 3. Three numbers are in continued proportion whose mean proportional is 12 and the sum of the remaining two numbers is 26. Then find these numbers. Okay, so this is word problem. Again, it is based on continued proportion. So here this sum can be solved in two different methods. One method is by continued proportion, which we are going to use, or you can write down the two ratios and you can apply the theorem on equal ratios also to solve this. Okay, so somewhere you will find that the method is different, but why I am doing the same method again and again? Because you will get thorough with this. I am using the same method in first, second and third sum. Okay, so see here, three numbers are in continued proportion. From that the middle number we know. That means if we take A, B, C in continued proportion, then value of B we know. And the second condition gives us that A plus C is 26. That means the sum of first and last is 26. So let us take these three numbers as A, B, C. Okay, so let A, B and C be the three numbers in continued proportion. So from the question what we can write down is B is equal to 12 and A plus C is equal to 26. Okay, so see, from the question I have written this. Okay, let A, B, C be the three numbers in continued proportion. So from this I can write down that B squared is equal to A into C. Number this as 1. That means the square of mean proportional is equal to multiplication of remaining 2. Okay, so mean is B here, so B squared is equal to A into C. Okay, so back from the definition of continued proportion I have written this and I have numbered this as 1 because I am going to use it. Then this statement I have written from the question, the mean proportional is 12 and the sum of remaining two numbers is 26. And then we have to find these numbers. Okay, so from this here what we can write is B is equal to 12 and A plus C is equal to 26. So from here I am writing the value of C. That means C is equal to 26 minus A. See, this A is shifted to RHS. C is equal to 26 minus A. I am writing C in the form of A. Why? Because see, here I know the value of B, but here I have two unknowns. Okay, so it is difficult to find out two unknowns. So one unknown we are expressing in the form of other. That means C I am expressing in the form of A. So here, now in this equation, B I am going to replace by 12 and C I am going to replace by 26 minus A. That means these both the values I am going to substitute in equation 1. Okay. So substituting B is equal to 12 and C is equal to 26 minus A in equation 1. I am substituting it here. Okay. So what I am going to get? Therefore 12 square is equal to A into 26 minus A. Don't forget to write down inside the bracket. Here two terms are there in place of C. So you need to write down in bracket. Okay. See, 12 also is written in bracket. So 12 square is equal to A into 26 minus A. Now the next step is to expand. Okay. Let us expand it. So what we are going to get? 12 square is equal to 144 and 26 into A is 26A minus A square. See, A into minus A is A square. So now what we are doing is we are framing equation in the form of equal to 0. Okay. In polynomials we have studied the quadratic polynomial. That means polynomial with the index 2 or degree 2. And then we have seen the factorization there by splitting the middle term. So we are going to convert it in the form of quadratic equation. I am using the word equation because I am writing equal to 0. You know that when equal to is not there, it is a polynomial. And when equal to 0 comes, it becomes a equation. Okay. So I am writing it in the form of quadratic equation. See, this minus A square shifted to LHS. So plus A square. Plus 26A will become minus 26A and plus 144 as it is and equal to 0 I am writing. Okay. So this LHS is a quadratic polynomial and when we write equal to 0, it becomes a quadratic equation. Now we have to split this. We have to find two numbers. See, first a coefficient here is 1 and 1 into 144 is 144. And the last term is positive. That means we are going to think of two numbers whose multiplication is 144 and addition is 26. See the middle number. When the last term is positive, we think of addition, if you can recall. And if the last term is negative, we think of subtraction. So here the last term is positive. So we are going to think of addition. So two numbers whose multiplication is 144 and sum is 26. So such two numbers are 18 and 8. 18 8s are 144. So this middle term minus 26a I am going to write as minus 18a minus 8a. Okay. So this is called as what? The factorization by splitting the middle term. We are splitting the middle term into two parts. So 26a we are going to split as 18 plus 8. Both are having the same sign. You know that if we have same sign, then and then only we can add. Okay, so this is the factorization. All of you please copy up to this. The next part I will explain you. So as I have said, you can do it by using another method also. But that will be different also, and I think it will be difficult also. So I have used the same method everywhere so that you can understand the same method well, and it is better for you to apply it. Okay. So I hope you must have completed this, and many of you might be writing with me while explaining. So now from here we are going to take out a common, and from here we are going to take out minus 8 common. The next step is to take out common here. This grouping we are doing in factorization. So here you can see that a is taken out common inside the bracket a minus 18, and from the remaining two terms minus 8 is taken out common and a minus 18. Now see, this bracket and this bracket is common. So again take out a minus 18 common. So in another bracket you will get a minus 8. is equal to 0. Now we have studied in the properties of real numbers that if a into b is equal to 0, then either a is 0 or b is 0. So here also either this bracket is 0 or that bracket is 0. So we are going to write in the form of either or. That means a minus 18 is equal to 0 or a minus 8 is equal to 0. From that what we are going to get is a is equal to 18 or a is equal to 8. So we got the one unknown from the two, that means a and c. We got the value of a. Now it is very easy to find value of c because c we have expressed in the form of a, that c we have written as 26 minus a. So that we are going to use. Therefore c is equal to 26 minus a, that means 26 minus 18 is equal to 8, or c is equal to 26 minus 8, that is 8. So we got the three numbers as 8, 12 and 18, or 18, 12 and 8. Okay, you can write in any sequence because we are getting two values here. So when a is 18, c is 8, or when a is 8, c is 18. Okay, so you can write down, you have to write down both because we have two possibilities. All of you please copy it. Once again I am saying that be very careful about signs while copying it and try to understand each and every step, and also revise the taught topics immediately so that you can understand them better. Okay students, so today I am stopping here. Thank you.